Why are the Russos struggling outside of the MCU? Well, it's always difficult to know exactly the reason that someone that was very successful in one context isn't successful in another context. We don't know all of the specific reasons, but did a video on John Lasseter not too long ago, who absolutely legendary for leading Pixar and then taking over both Pixar and Disney Animation when the acquisition happened, and had a over 20-year run of wild success, both prolific as well as high quality, and then got outed from Disney because of bad behavior and got picked up by another studio, and it hasn't repeated the results. So why is it that there's people that at certain windows of time in certain systems are so successful and then fail to carry that other out into other places? I think with the Russos, it's easier to explain if you put in the context of the metaphor that I very frequently use to describe so much franchise filmmaking over the last decade, which they treat directors a lot of times as McDonald's managers. Marvel in particular, they'll bring in these up-and-coming director that did a cool mid-budget indie film, art house type film, and they bring them over to do this $200 million movie, and all of a sudden they're just a McDonald's manager that's the person keeping the factory running, but all of their creative flair, their own interesting ideas, doesn't really matter because it's directed by the committee, the parliament has all the power, it's rewritten 1,000 times, that sort of thing. The director doesn't actually have that much power. They're just following the instructions of the corporation, like a McDonald's manager. So you think, put it in that context, the Russos just happen to be the best McDonald's managers. They were the best at working in the phase 2 and phase 3 system of the MCU. That, however, Kevin Feige's overview of everything, his oversight, the writing team, they stepped in and they worked great in that system with a strong boss and all of these other groups. They pulled all that together and they made the groups better. They made the whole better, and they delivered by far their best films. But they did not do that on their own. That was not them working in a vacuum. That was not them making these indie films. That was them working in the MCU system. They were the ultimate middle managers of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kevin Feige's at top. All the independent, actors and departments are on the bottom tier. They're right in the middle, pulling it all together. And then they went off, and whether it's because it all went to their heads, whether it's because they were never actually that good, they just worked great in this one system. Don't really know what exactly happened, but they went off and they did Cherry, and it has flourishes, but it never feels like it's as potent. It feels like style over substance. And then they do The Gray Man, it just feels like a big, slick, generic film. And then Electric State, I liked it more than most people, but it just never justifies its budget. It just feels so overblown and familiar. What's kind of going on here? Well, they know how to pull a film together. All of even their bad ones, they have big spectacle and action, and the visual effects look good, but the core, the heart of them is missing. Phase 2 and 3 of the MCU, they were joining in with an already established world with characters that we already cared about. And in that context where we already cared, they did a great job. That's my best theory. They're just the best McDonald's managers, but they're not builders. They're not creators. They work in other people's systems, or they worked in one specific system really well.
Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.